All right, cool kids. Chapter 10, Section 6, solving problems involving area of a circle. So if you remember where we came from here, we recently talked about circumference of a circle. So circumference, it listed here, is 2 pi times radius, or we can find it by doing pi times diameter. Quick refresher here, the radius measures from the center of the circle to a point on the circle. So that's our radius. The diameter, on the other hand, is going to measure all the way across. So that would be our diameter. If we were given a radius of like 4, the diameter is twice as long as the radius. It's going to be 8. So that's why we have two formulas. If I take 2 times the radius, 2 times 4, that's just equal to the diameter. So it's not technically two different formulas. They're just the same thing. Today, we're going to be working with area. Area of a circle is equal to pi times radius squared. So another formula dealing with circles, but this one does area. Remember, pi, in a lot of cases, we're going to use pi equals 3.14, but 22 over 7 can also be used. So we have a new butterfly conservatory will be a circle with an 18-foot radius. The material for the floor, so they're putting a new floor in here, it's going to cost $3.95 per square foot. About how much will the floor cost? So we're given the radius of 18 feet. So using our formula, area equals pi times radius squared. Remember, for pi, we're going to use 3.14, and our radius is just 18 feet. We're going to square that. All right, using a calculator here, 3.14 multiplied by 18 to the second power, I get 1,017.36. So this itself is actually a rounded value. Pi is not exactly 3.14. It's close, but it's not exactly 3.14. It wants us to say about how much will the floor cost. So let's just round this. Let's just say this is about 1,017 square feet. All right. And we are told that every square foot is $3.95. So if I want to figure out my total cost, I'm going to take the number of square feet and I'm going to multiply by the $3.95 in this case. So 1,017 square feet multiplied by $3.95. 1017 multiplied by $3.95. We have approximately $4,017.15. We again could round that. It's about $4,017. Your assignment should hopefully tell you what to round to. Honestly, ideally, I wouldn't want to round until the very end. Ideally, I'd like to use this 1017.36, and instead of maybe multiplying here like I did, rather than rounding multiple times, I think this would probably be a more accurate way of getting it. 1017.36 multiplied by $3.95. It actually ends up rounding then, in this case, to $4,018.57, which is closer to $4,019. So ideally, we'd round just at the very end to make our answer as exact as possible. At a school play, there's a spotlight above the center of the floor that covers a lighted area with a radius of 7 feet. We want to find the area of that space. So this time we're going to use 22 over 7. Area equals pi radius squared. So 22 over 7 is what we're going to use for pi, multiplied by 7 feet to the second power. So 22 over 7 multiplied by 7 to the second power. What you'll find is when we use 22 over 7, in a lot of cases, not always, but we don't end up with a decimal value as frequently. This is 154 square feet. You can see the pizza down here maybe. Diameter of a pizza is 12 inches. What is its area? So the thing that changes here is we're not given the radius. But the way we find area is pi r squared. If our diameter is 12, in order to figure out the radius, I need to cut it in half. So half of 12, we have a radius of 6. So 3.14 multiplied by 6 inches to the second power. 3.14 times 6 squared. We get 113.04 square inches. Again, hopefully the book is telling you exactly what to round to here. This particular example did not. Okay. So similar problem, still working with area of a circle. The athletic department wants to paint the school's mascot logo on the gym locker room wall. They start by painting a solid blue circle. So they're going to paint a blue circle because this is what the mascot, that paw, looks like. I don't know, Wolverines or Wildcat. I don't know what we got here. What is the maximum diameter of the logo if only 1 quart of blue paint is used? So this number down here, the 78.5 square feet, is very important to us. All right, as we go through and start solving this, area equals pi r squared. Area is told to us we only have 1 can of blue paint. That can only cover 78.5 square feet. If they're only going to use this one, we need to plug in 78.5 square feet for area. It tells us to use 3.14 for pi. So our job is to find the radius. So if we go back and look at the problem, what is the maximum diameter of the logo? So we're trying to find this, trying to find the diameter. So remember, our formula doesn't actually use diameter, it uses the radius. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to solve for the radius. And after we figure out what that is, we're gonna have to multiply by 2 because that'll be equivalent to our diameter. So how do we solve this? Well, in order to get r squared by itself, I need to divide by 3.14 on both sides. So 78.5 divided by 3.14, I get 25. That's equal to r squared. I don't want r squared. I want r. The opposite of squaring something is doing the square root. So the square root of r squared is r. The square root of 25 is 5. So we have our radius. The question didn't technically ask us for the radius. It says, what is the maximum diameter of the logo? So if our radius, we could draw this in here. Our radius is 5. How do we figure out the diameter? Well, we just double it, multiply it by 2. So our diameter is going to be equal to 10 feet. So we used a given area to find the radius, and then using the radius, we found out what the diameter was. This problem is very similar. What is the radius of a circle that has an area of 28.26 square feet? Area is pi r squared. We're told the area. Area is 28.26. That's equal to 3.14 multiplied by r squared. And again, we would have to divide by 3.14 on both sides, do the square root to get r by itself. So 28.26 divided by 3.14, I get 9 equals r to the second power. Again, I'm trying to find r, so I do the square root. I get r equals 3. Unlike the previous problem, this one specifically asked for the radius, so we're done. Radius is 3. Okay, example 3. Similar here to example 2, Ellie needs new grass and the circular pen for her chickens. What is the area of the pen? All right, we're told that there are 176 feet of fencing. We're told the distance around the circle. The distance around this circle is a measurement of circumference. So our circumference, which is 2 pi r, or pi times diameter, is 176. So what I need to do is, using this circumference formula, I need to find the radius. That's what it's telling me to do here for step 1. So my circumference is equal to, let's go 2 pi r, because I need radius in order to find the area of the circle anyway. So what can I fill in? Well, this is the circumference. Circumference is 176, so I'm going to replace c with 176. That's equal to 2 times 3 point, oh, it tells me use 22 over 7, sorry. 2 times 22 over 7 multiplied by our radius. Okay, 2 times 22 over 7. We could do a little bit of simplification here. That's what, 44 over 7. So I'm just going to write 176 equals 44 over 7 times r. And now I want to get r by itself. So I'm going to take 176 and divide by 44 over 7. Remember, dividing by 44 over 7 is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I technically could do this. I can multiply by 7 over 44. These are going to cross cancel. And in either case, I get r equals 28. So the radius of this pen from the center out is 28. Okay, using this radius, now I want to find the area. So area, pi times radius squared. Again, we're going to use 22 over 7. Our radius is 28. and take 28 squared. So we have 22 over 7 multiplied by 28 to the second power. I get 2,464 square feet. So we used our circumference, worked backwards to find the radius, and then used the radius to find the area. How far away can a person live from a radio station and hear its broadcast and the signal covers a circular area of 40,000 square miles? Write your answer as a whole number. So how far away we're looking at here, assume that the radio station is here in the middle. We're looking at finding the radius. Doesn't matter what direction we measure out. That's how far it can reach 40,000 square miles. So area equals pi r squared. If the area is 40,000 equals, let's go 3.14 times radius squared. We'd be solving for r in this particular example. And then it tells us here what circular area is covered by the signal. If the circumference is 754 miles, circumference is 2 pi r. So if we were given 754 miles, 2 times 3.14 times r. Again, we would solve for r, but in this particular example, after solving for our radius, it would want us to find our area. The one up above, we're just finding the radius and we'd be done. This one down here, we'd solve for the radius, then have to plug it in to find the area because, again, it's asking us what circular area is covered. So we're working with the area formula. We're finding area when given a radius, finding area when given a diameter. We're using circumference to find the area as well. And again, we work backwards. We find the radius first, and then we can find the area based upon that. This is what I'm going to have you do. I have number 12 listed here, kind of a visual to help you out with it. If you have questions about anything, stop in and let me know.